Hello and welcome to the Kent Voices podcast with me, your host, Charlie Gurr. So the first episode we have is all about safety. So without further ado, let's get on with the podcast. So with October almost at an end, Halloween and fireworks night are just around the corner. So what can you do to make sure that you're staying safe? I'm joined by two guests to discuss the topic. Do you want to tell me a bit more about yourselves?
Sure, my name's Favour and I am the Welfare and Community Officer at Kent Union.
Lovely. And I'm Josh, so I'm the Community Life Officer with the College and Community Life team, and we are there to make sure students living off campus and on campus have access to support and can stay safe on a night out or a night in.
First of all, what can people do to stay safe on a night out?
So there's so many things that we offer students that like to go out on a night out, such as walk-in taxis on campus. So if you head over to campus security or campus security of near, for example, venue, and you want some support in getting home, they will walk you to your accommodation wherever you live on campus, which I think is such an amazing opportunity really to get home safe.
Like, it just gets dark around campus, so I think sometimes it's really nice if you don't have a friend to walk home with, there is always that opportunity to have someone for security walk you back, which, as Favour said, is just great.
Definitely. Wish I knew about it sooner. And if you're a student that's like off campus, then we have a student safe taxi scheme, which is where you can get a long lease taxi home for free on the night, and then next morning you can come straight into our office in the Mandela building and pay for your taxi after, so you don't have to worry about I haven't got money to get home or I don't know how I'm going to get home. We have those services in place for you. Just pop in and then the next day and we'll sort out the payments. I think that's really cool as well.
Yeah, I was going to say we've got walking taxis and actual taxis, so it's really covers all bases. I was going to say one of the main things that you probably all know about on campus is Safe Zone. So Safe Zone's the safety app that is the go-to to get in touch with campus security. If you feel threatened, if you're nervous, if there's something that's making you feel anxious, or if you see someone that really does need help, they are there 24/7 to make sure that you are safe. So all you have to do is, if you haven't downloaded the Safe Zone app, it's on Apple Store, Android, etc. Just go on there and download it. That provides you with access to security 24/7. And something they've done recently, which I think is super cool, I don't know if that makes you really sad, but it is the connected routes scheme. So that means Safe Zone isn't just for on campus anymore. You can use Safe Zone when you are walking along one of the connected routes between the university and town. Not only that, but there is refuge points throughout the city. Security will call you, they can walk you to the nearest refuge point, and you can wait for help to come, whether that's the police or whether that is a friend to come and pick you up.
And I just think that's so amazing, like you said, because wherever you are, wherever part you are in Canterbury, like there's also refuge points and you can find them on the Safe Zone app. So whether you call campus security, they'll direct you to your nearest refuge point where you can get further help and directive if you're not on campus. And talking about off campus, next week's it's this week Sunday. Yes, yeah. This week Sunday.
It
is
so
Halloween.
Fast.
I know, like
I still need to make my costume. It's ridiculous.
Like, I'm just surprised that October's literally rounding up this weekend. But on Sunday, it is Halloween. I know many students will be going out, having a good time, which is awesome. But there'll also be street marshals and safety hubs in town. So if you're around in like the city centre, maybe Kent or Cuban, wherever you may be, you can speak to our street marshals and the safety hub if you have any questions on how to get home or if you want any signposts or anything like that. And I think that's really, really cool.
Yeah, so the street marshals, if you're not familiar with them, they are a university scheme with Christchurch as well. So they are there very recognisably in a high vis, which is orange and yellow. It says street marshals across the back. They are there to help you get home safe as well and to check in on you and make sure that you're having a good night without having a dangerous night. So do chat to them if you see them around. They're really friendly. And the Community Safety Hub, which will have people from the council, police and the universities there, is on the Sunday between 7 and 10 p.m. right outside McDonald's. So if you're going into McDonald's for a pre-night out snack, make sure you say hello.
Yeah, and of course, sometimes things do happen, unfortunately. But if they do, we have an amazing reporting system called Report and Support, where you can report incidents or anything that happens. You can also report anonymously as well. And we will do our best to help and support you. So, Josh, I think you know a bit more about report support than I do. So, anything else to add on that?
I'd say report and support. Whether you want to reveal your name or not, just make sure you do report it, because the more we know, the more we can put in place for people that do need that support. And if you are naming yourself in your report, just know that there are specialist support services on campus that are there to help you and make sure that you get exactly what you need to help you through any situation surrounding harassment or sexual assault. So it's really important that you use it. Just remember, we are here to support you and make sure that you are getting the help that you need. I think kind of naturally, like there's the main have a safe night things that are going around, which is just make sure you're looking out for each other. Go out with friends, walk in groups, switch out alcohol for a soft drink every now and again, just to make sure that you're not going crazy. Because the worst thing is when you end your night either passing out or throwing up. It's just not fun, and neither is the next day. I was going to say, do you have anything to add to that, Favour?
I completely agree. Like, if, for example, just be careful with your alcohol consumption. Like you said, sometimes we'll go out for a J2O, they're still very nice. Or even a mocktail, they're lovely.
The J2O is still such a treat.
Exactly. And even if you are on a night out, maybe you're in town or whatever the case may be, and you're with a group of friends, maybe just take it in turn to look after each other. I know it's a bit boring to be the mother of the night, but it does save you a lot of hassle the next morning. So yeah, that's what I'd say.
And bread is your friend. Bread is always your
Bread is your friend.
So going out isn't necessarily for everyone. What if you're staying in or having a party?
So if you're staying in, I think the key thing is just be considerate of your neighbours. Remember that they might be at like a different stage of their life. They might not be going out and having a mad one. And a lot of them, because it's a Sunday night Halloween, you might be having a party on a Saturday, but people may have work the next day. And people may also have young children that are like trying to sleep. So just keep those people in mind. And the best thing you can do before any party is just go round and chat to your neighbours and let them know that's what you're doing. Because if they know, they're generally more accepting of it. You can also have a discussion about what's reasonable, like what time you're going to finish, what time are you going to move inside, and make sure you're turning the music down a bit. And it's always a good idea to just give them a contact number so that if they are, I don't know, getting a bit annoyed about it going on or being too loud, they can let you know first so you can deal with it. It's just the best way to avoid complaints and make sure that you're not having any issues down the line with noise complaints or police, etc. So just do be considerate that not everyone's having a wild one this weekend.
Absolutely, I completely agree. Even from being a student myself and living in town, like the best thing we did was when we just let our neighbours know that we're having a bit of a get together, maybe a bit loud, but we know that when it gets to a certain hour of the night, you need to quiet it down a bit and just have a children with your mates. So if you are staying in this weekend, just ensure that you keep yourselves accountable, because like Josh said, there's people who have little kids, or even the dog can be woken up by all the noise. So just be accountable and let everyone know.
And I think there's a famous rule, isn't there? Nothing good happens after 2 a.m. That goes the same for parties. So really do just kind of wrap it up a bit earlier, because you don't want to have that bad relationship with your neighbours for the rest of the year. It's just not worth it. So just do be considerate of them. And again, if you are drinking at a party, I think we all know how easy it is to get carried away when you're not out and about. When you're not paying £5 a pint, it's so much easier to drink more of them. So do just be careful and be aware of that. And as Favour says, take a J2O. Why not?
Exactly. But then again, I'm also thinking at the end of the night, obviously you're going to be with your friends at their house, but you may not live on their road, you may not live in their area. From house place to town, it is quite a journey. So always think about how you're getting home. Of course, you can call a licensed taxi service, or maybe you've got a friend that's driving. J2Os are always the way if you're driving. But just ensure that you plan the way you're getting home before you go out, so that you always know what you're doing and when you're doing it.
Yeah, that's definitely great advice. And just kind of, work with a few friends of how you're getting home, what time you're going home. It's just good to know that you've sorted that out before it reaches later on and you don't know what you're doing. And I think we've said kind of a lot of stuff around like safer drinking, etc. But just remember, if you don't want to drink or if you don't want to do anything, you don't have to. No one's going to judge you for not doing that. And quite frankly, just your body, your choice. Don't do anything you don't want to do. That goes for all things. It's your choice. Period. Is that an American thing? I don't know.
It's an American thing for real.
Also, if you are throwing a party or you go to a party, Do be aware of gate crashers. If you have people that come into your house who you did not invite, they shouldn't be there. And if you kind of don't feel comfortable dealing with that, or it's getting out of hand, you can call the police to help you. So please do. Don't let things get out of control or feel that you can't say anything. So just make sure that you know that if gate crashers do come, you know how to deal with it. And lock up your valuables. You never know who's coming to your party.
Please do lock up your valuables, lock up your rooms. It's important.
So as we mentioned earlier, fireworks night is coming up too. So what should people be considering?
I think the number one thing to remember is fireworks are banned on campus. I know it's easy, you want to meet up your mates and just play on some fireworks, but not on campus, please.
Please don't do it on campus. And just remember, the word fireworks kind of says it all. Fire, do be really careful. They come with loads of safety instructions. If you're off campus and you do want to use fireworks, remember that you do need to keep a safe distance from them. You do really need to carefully read that safety information and make sure you are, pointing them away from any buildings, trees, etc., and from yourselves. Hopefully that's obvious. But do make sure that you're doing everything you can to make sure that you are using them safely. There's loads of stuff online that you can find with a quick Google search on just using fireworks safely. The same goes for sparklers. Be really careful and remember that you don't want that to get out of hand and be an actual fire.
Absolutely. And I'm also thinking about maybe just going to a public event instead, as we can't have them on campus. And I'm sure there'll be some in town or maybe just elsewhere around Canterbury and Kent as a whole. So do look to go to a public event. It'd be great. It'd be like a good other night out with your mates.
Yeah. I think the thing is as well, that big fireworks show is going to be a lot more impressive than the £10 box you get from Asda. It's just something to remember. And also you can go along, you go see the great show, and then you've had a good night out as well. And there's loads of stuff around us. There's Tyler Hill fireworks in Canterbury. They've also got one at the cricket ground. So just have a search in your area, see if there's something that you could go to, because it will be fun, and it's always a nice experience as well around other people.
Definitely. But in the case that they do want to stay at home and have a lovely £10 display, which is not a bad idea, it's up to you.
No judgment. No
judgment zone here. But just think about your neighbours, think about whether maybe like we said prior that they might have work in the morning, young kids. I think if I was a kid and my next door neighbour was having a fireworks display, I'll be up at that window watching whether it is £10 or not. But just be careful. Just be careful and think about your neighbours, think about maybe any pets or wildlife in the area, because they might find it a bit stressful, a bit discomforting as well. So that's one thing to keep in mind if you are having fireworks at home.
Yeah, my dog used to leap out of his skin every time there was a bang. So dogs don't like fireworks. Think of the dogs.
Oh, that is so sad.
And remember, it's the time of year, it gets dark quite earlier, and soon, I believe, as of when do the clocks go back, Favour?
I think Sunday morning, really early.
Nice.
I wouldn't know the time and date, but yeah, it goes back an hour. So you're going home late in the dark, you're waking up in the dark, just be super careful and super safe.
Yeah, and it's getting darker, so you can do your fireworks early. So that's something to think about. But also, if you are kind of concerned about going home in the dark, remember the bus runs 24 hours to and from campus. And also you can get a little torch if you go to the security office, which is just something you can attach to your key ring, and they've got loads to give out. So if you do want something just to brighten the way, you can grab something from there.
Oh yes, so the clocks go back at 2 a.m. on Sunday morning. So I was kind of right, very early.
That is very early.
Very early. Imagine you're out and then you've got an extra hour to be out. That's kind of cool for Halloween.
It is in a way, but remind me, does this mean I lose sleep or gain sleep?
You gain sleep.
Amazing. I'm really excited.
Perfect. Me too.
Well, thank you very much to both of you for coming onto the podcast. It's been great to have you on.
No problem. It's been really, really nice to chat about it, and just do stay safe. Have a really safe weekend. Have a safe week. And if there's ever anything that you're worried about, make sure you reach out to either Kent Union, or you can reach out to the College of Community Life team. We'll make sure we include any contact information wherever this goes out.
Unfortunately, that's all we have time for on this episode of Kent Voices. This podcast was brought to you by Student Services at the University of Kent. For more information, visit www.kent.ac.uk/student services.